everyone. Welcome to Radiant Living, Inspiring Humanity to Thrive. I'm your host, Marissa B. Today, we're here to have a powerful conversation about clarity, what it is, where it comes from, and what you can do to let it shine for you. Now, I'd like to welcome back someone with 40 years of experience in the health, quantum physics, metaphysics, wellness industry, author, speaker, teacher, television host, Judy Kim Martene. Judy, thank you so much for coming today and to speak about this subject, the powerful conversation about clarity.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Marissa. Just seems like yesterday we were having conversation. And
Yes.
right? Like the time is just speeding up so fast. And all the more reason why clarity, discernment and clarity is so important. And the reason that I have the method called the Judy K method, which is the 3 R's. And I'll talk about the 3 R's individually, but first of all, I'll explain that the 3 R's absolutely ground and stabilize and provide clarity in your life. And if you don't have your 3 R's, you're frustrated, you're confused, you're probably sick physically, you have disease in the body, you're mentally in a mess, right? You're physically in a mess, you're overwhelmed, your relationship has issues, you don't feel like you belong. You have all of these symptoms every day when you wake up. You're on the same rat wheel, that goes around and around and around. And it's because we were never taught these 3 R's. We were taught that you get up in the morning and you go about your day and you do the things that you're supposed to do, that you were told to do, that you're trained to do, that you're programmed to do, and then you do them all over again. And if you have space in between, then there's time to really look at you. So let's talk about 3 R's. So the first
so
R,
I want to say one thing first. I want to mention that we're speaking about clarity. So we talked a little bit off camera about the fact that there are many things that are beyond our control. So the clarity itself, am I correct, has to come from within?
Yes.
Yes. So with that, if you could explain the 3 R's that you speak of. Hi, everyone. Marissa B. here from Radiant Living. If you like what we're doing and want to keep the conversations going, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every time we upload a video. Thank you.
And clarity should come from within the soul, that soul part of you, the higher divine connected part of you. Because if clarity comes from somewhere else, it's because it's programmed and it's been told. Now, not that there's not clarity out there in the subject that you can go and discern and say, oh, yes, that makes sense to me, right? But the first R, let's talk about the first R, is remember who you are at core level. So you're remembering who you are at core level means that you know that you're more than just this earth suit. Like you are an earth suit experience here, yes, but you're more than that. You're a spiritual being, you're an energetic being, you're something that's more that you're just housing in this earth suit. So when you start to remember the first R, remember who you are at core level, things start to change for your life. Then the second R is recognize your purpose for being here on the planet now. Not 10 years ago, not 5 years ago, maybe not even a year ago or 5 months ago, but now, because our purposes change. Younger days, I was raising 5 kids on my own. That's not my purpose now. They're adults. They're on their own. Recognize your purpose now means you're flowing in sync with your higher self when you recognize your purpose. And how you recognize your purpose is remembering who you are at core level beyond your earth suit. So then you start to recognize your purpose, and then you start to step into it. And then the third R is the reconnection to your intuition, your higher power, your God source, whatever you want to call it. When you connect to that intuition, that God source, you've got everything. You've got your answers all the time. You've got discernment in there. You've got clarity in there. So when you're clear on remembering who you are at core level, number one, when you're clear on recognizing your purpose for being here, when you're clear on connection or reconnection to your higher power, it's like you got the world by the tail, because in that space, you have everything. You even have divine health in there. You've got divine relationships, divine synchronicity, abundance, prosperity. Everything you need is within those 3 R's. And how many of us actually have that? Now, how many of us actually want it?
Right. Is a different story. Yes, of course.
Right? We all want it. How many of us maybe have been taught in the past through workshops or books we've read that there's a hint that things like that could exist, but it's probably for someone else and not for me. I'm not spiritually inclined, or I'm not artistic, or I don't have a purpose. My purpose is to get up and work a 9 to 5 and raise these kids and look after my parents and, things like that. But when you sit down with yourself, which not many of us do very often, sit down with yourself and go within and ask yourself those questions. It opens up a portal. It opens up a space where you begin to go, ooh, I think there's more to life than just this. And that opens up a whole new pathway of exploration for people. That's exciting, Marissa.
Now, what do you say to people when they start this path and they meet with resistance from others? Because once again, you can't control anyone. Others have their own opinion. How do you keep clear on your path without absorbing that, I guess, pressure or negativity that might seep in or attempt to seep in?
Mm-hmm. That's a tough one. Keep it to yourself. Keep your journey to yourself. When you come up against opposition with loved ones, friends, family, co-workers, keep it to yourself. Keep your journey to yourself, because you're going to come up against negativity. But at the same time, when you start keeping your journey to yourself and then visualize like-minded people coming into your life, because you're connecting now to your divine self, you're connecting to your intuition, you're asking your intuition, your God source, hey, show me my purpose, connect me, please. I'm disconnected. And you're starting to say, hey, what am I? Just show me what a spiritual being is. You know what happens? The floodgates open and all sorts of events, people, places, things start coming into your life to show you that. It cannot not. It's called law of manifestation, law of attraction. That what you ask, you shall receive in one way, form, or another. So as you're journeying through this, keep your journey within yourself. That way, you're going to avoid the confrontations. And the thing about that is, as you start to change, people notice something different about you. They'll say, did you change your hairstyle? You look happier. What's going on with you? And then you can share if you'd like to. But that's one of the ways because you don't want to argue with someone and you don't want to tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing, and you don't want to say, be quiet, and you don't want to just close them out of your life per se, but you want to close them out of that section of your life.
Mm-hmm. Now, what happens if this purpose comes about that's so far afield from what you had been doing, how you were? How do you really trust that that's the road to go on? Do you drop everything and jump on that path? How does one deal with that?
That's a tough one, because if you're in a relationship and you've got kids and you're working, let's say, a typical 9 to 5, and you feel a passion towards something, it's like, well, I just can't stop doing that and go pursue this. My income will change. Everyone will think I'm crazy. So there's a magic formula to this. And I know of 2 people. One of them used to be my ex-neighbor, and both of these women were teachers in preschool and kindergarten teachers. And they have been in the educational field for a long time. One of them knew she wanted to be an artist. Now, talk about an artist trying to get into a field that makes money. That's one of the hard ones. And the other knew she had psychic gifts. And that's another hard one. So it isn't like both of them picked careers like, oh, I'm leaving to be a teacher and going to be a lawyer, which would be easy because you've already got, some university degrees, things like that.
Yes.
No, they both chose fields that seemed way out. And how would they ever start it? Now, number one, they both had supportive people in their life. That's important. And when you have a family that's not supportive, find supportive networks and start off slowly. Do your research. Have your little vision book beside you of how you would like to plan that out. What could it look like? I would suggest everybody just don't jump. You get the call and you're supposed to whatever. Don't just jump into it. Use your discernment and clarity. And we started off our conversation about clarity. Get clear that this is what you feel deep within your soul, because God will always meet you where you're at. You'll always have the stones put in front of you, the path laid out in front of you, the doors opening up in front of you, the people, places, and events coming into your life to support that. Always keep it quiet. Don't start going, oh, I'm going to quit my teaching job and I'm going to whatever, and telling your family, friends, and relatives, because all that negative energy is going to come at you and put up that huge wall. Keep it quiet. Plan it out with clarity, sincerity, integrity, authenticity. Ask God to show you. Ask your angels to show you. Ask the Tom, Dick, Harry, Buddha, whatever it is that you are either beginning to connect with or already connected to start to show you. And you'll be amazed, especially in today's energy, of how that starts to lay out for you. Amazed. And those two stories, the teacher becoming an artist,
Yes.
and the other teacher and now she's been asked to do a TV show in the United States. She's Canadian because her psychic
Oh, that's
predictions are
wonderful.
absolutely crazy, phenomenally wild, and coming true.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So clearly they followed the path that they were led to.
Yeah.
And that's the question. How does one get clear? What would be the first step to start to get clear on where you're going, how you're going, where does one start?
Asking, how do I do this? I don't know how to do this. Man, I want to be. So here's as an example, as a young child, preteen, I wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, a private investigator, and a hairdresser. I was passionate about all of them, and I wanted it. So get clear on what it is. Is it really a doctor I want to be? And let me look into that. Let me see how long that would take me to do. Let me see what type of education I would need. Let me see if the funding's there. Is it a teacher I want to become? Is it an artist? Have a look at them logically within the brain, writing it on paper. What does that look like for me? And start to feel. If you're writing down that you want to become a teacher of the arts or a yoga teacher or whatever it is, and you're writing it down and it just feels so good and things seem to flow. And all of a sudden the next day you see an ad up on the billboard or in the newspaper or on social media that says yoga teacher training in your town or in your city starting in the fall on weekends. It's like, maybe I'll try that, and try it because you're working during the week. So you've got your yoga teacher training on the weekends. And halfway through, you feel this ain't for me. You haven't lost anything. You haven't your family hasn't disowned you. You've just decided it's not for you. So what happens when you start to take the path of least resistance and logically getting it down on paper, looking at it, looking at timelines, looking at what falls into place, it always will fall into place for you. And maybe that yoga teacher training, when you're done, it was like, wow, that went fast. That's awesome. Look at the certificate I have. Now I can start on weekends and still keep my job without disrupting my family income. Like there's so many possibilities, but our small brain keeps us into fear. Well, what if this? What if that doesn't work? And what's my husband going to think? What's my mom going to think? What's my sister going to think? Oh my God, what if it doesn't make enough money? So we're always in fear, and it always keeps us small. And I go back to the example of my next door neighbor and a friend of mine, teachers, full pension as teachers, right? Teachers make pretty good money at full pension. They both left it in their late 30s to pursue their passion, and it's paid off for them.
Now, what happens if someone is on a path and the path seems to be going in the direction that they first thought that they wanted to go in, but they become disillusioned? Is that then not the path for them? Do they find something else, or do they stay with that because it may be only temporary? How does that work?
Here's the clarity part. If you're being disillusioned, sit down with yourself and have a conversation. Why did I start this? What was the reason I did that? Did things fall into place, or was I pressured by something? Was I pressured by my partner or my friend that said, oh, you should try that. I think you'd be really good at that. Right. And I kind of got pressured into it. And now I'm thinking, well, maybe this isn't for me. Then bow out. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. What have I learned from this? How did this serve me? How did it serve my higher self? Did I pay attention to my intuition or did I pay attention to what people were saying? Oh, I listened to them, did I? Okay, well, that's taught me a lesson. What else did I learn? Well, I learned that what I went through here gave me some information and experience and knowledge. Wow, that was pretty cool. That's a plus. And what have I lost? Oh, $100, $1,000 maybe? But is it really lost or has it been gained? You know, these are the things that you got to have a logical, honest conversation with yourself because there's no mistakes. You never do anything wrong. And when you find that each subject, each thing has a duality, the high and the low, then you find the equilibrium point. And the equilibrium point is that place of inspiration, of grace, of connection to your higher self. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. So then that means that, right, even if you feel a bit disillusioned, you should sit back. Because it really, again, we say it all stems from within,
Yeah.
because it's really you spending the time with yourself,
Mhm.
which many of us don't do, right?
We've never been told we needed to. We've been told
Right.
we need to listen to what everything else is out there telling us to do. Go buy that dish soap because it's the best soap. Dawn, buy that laundry detergent, Tide. It's the best soap ever. Your clothes will be clean. You won't be having that dirty spot on your shirt that people are going to look at you.
In fact, especially as women, we're told really not supposed to be spending time on yourself, right? Because it's not something that a real woman does, right? Um, they call it selfish, oftentimes been called selfish, self-centered. So that brings about a lot of fear
Yep.
that, if you stop and you begin to look inward and see what path you want to go on right away, those old programming records, those old programming tapes come back on, right? That um, this is not, there's no time for that, or it's the time is not now, or this is not meant for me. And I
Yep.
think that that's a lot to overcome, right? I mean, how does, especially for women, how do we try to overcome those sounds, those statements that play over and over again, so that we know that we're really getting on the path for ourselves? What would you say to somebody?
Well, I would say to start to have a look at where those thoughts are coming from and to understand, to acknowledge, to do some information for knowledge that really we're constantly being programmed to be something different than who we are at core level. No one's ever told us to look at who we are at core level. Even in religion, we're told to look at what's up there on the podium and what's not within our reach. So we've never ever been taught to look within, that we're the same God source as Queen Elizabeth or whoever you want to say in the world, right? Bon Jovi, whatever, that we're all equal. And if we start to do some investigation and research, like do some research on life. Who are you? Who told you who you are? Sit with yourself and start to make notes about it as a child. What did your mom and dad say about you? My mom had a scholarship for me to become a nurse. Remember, I told you as a child I wanted to become a doctor, a lawyer, private
Yes.
detective, and a hairstylist. I didn't want to become no nurse, but she had a scholarship for me because that's what was expected. So the disappointment that came from her when her dream for me wasn't fulfilled was huge. And then, of course, me feeling less than because I'm not fulfilling her dream because we're never taught that we're supposed to have dreams. My mom had that dream for me. Didn't ask me what my dreams were. Didn't ask me what I was playing with in my bedroom. Didn't ask me what I thought I wanted to be. Even though a doctor, lawyer, teacher, and private detective, and, all of those other things that I wanted to be. In fact, it was a teacher in there, which I turned out to be, but still. And I am a private detective because I go deep. I find the root causes of things. But anyway, when parents don't nurture that within us, we as adults have no idea that that part's still in there rumbling away, trying to come out. Our purpose, our connection, who we are at core level. Who am I? Who am I destined to be? Not who I was last year, 10 years ago, because that was just a cycle I've been through. And each Whether you go 6 months, 3 months, a year, but who you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to be right now in this world, it's changing very rapidly. And it's very succinct that what I'm doing now, I'm probably going to be doing a year from now, teaching and helping and sharing. 15 years ago, I was still teaching, but not as much. I was still kind of raising kids, and I was in relationship, and I was running a business. So that's very different than what I'm doing now, but it's still along the same line. So you'll find your flavor, is what I'm going to say, when you sit with yourself and think about what you thought about as a child. What was it you gravitated towards? Did you do your Barbie's hair all the time? Or did you do fashion? Were you out climbing trees, which I was? I had secret forts everywhere. So what was it you gravitated to as a child? And then again, I say, sit with yourself as an adult and go, what would my parents actually tell me? And what was I rebelling against? It takes some time to get real with yourself, because not many of us have. And it doesn't take therapy to go into therapy and lay on a couch and get psyched out. It takes courage and bravery, honesty, time to sit with yourself quietly. Go in your car and drive down a country road, or go in a parking lot and just sit there for a few minutes with yourself. And it's really hard to do because we're not alone with ourselves very often. But start the process, because this is your life. And Marissa, as you and I age up, we know it's very short.
Yes, of course.
Like, I'll be 69 in March, and it's like, what? Where did that go? I still feel 40.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I was talking recently with someone, and I remember when I was 22, 24, it was like it was yesterday. Of course, it wasn't, but it was like it was yesterday. Where did all the time go? And it does seem to go by all too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think that for many people, they feel the same way. And I think that a lot of them maybe are dissatisfied with their life and what they're doing. They feel that they're missing something often, but they don't know where to start.
I would say most people feel that, even though people say, yeah, I'm following my purpose, and you dig in deep, which I do, is dig in deep to the root. It's like, well, that purpose was there 20 years ago because they followed a group, or they followed something they wanted to do then, and they kept up with it and not checking in with themselves. Is this my true purpose here today? Or is that just something I've done all the time? Service to something, that I just stuck with because it seemed like it was a good thing. It was a kind service. It was service to community. So I'm still with that. But now I don't feel good about it. But I'm still with it because it's purpose. Like when I sat on all the boards of directors and chairman of the youth shelter and worked in a nursing home and all of that, I never kept those up. I stopped doing community things, big outward community things, because I knew there was a change coming in my life, that my service is going to be directed elsewhere. I had done my time in that community service. Whereas most people will say, well, I have to do community service. Being part of a community means you do community things. Well, yeah, but now maybe you're shifting in a different direction. That's still service, but maybe not in the same way you're doing community service. And that's where I think people get hung up.
Do you think that most people, if they do get on the path or begin the path, that they actually get to their purpose, get to be satisfied? Or do you think that, especially from experience, because you work with a lot of clients, or do you find that they revert back to what was known before, or what's been told to them before?
It's a hit and miss, because when people come to me, they're already very clear that there's something they need changed in their life, so they're willing to put the work in. And it's usually leaders that get called to me, people that know they're supposed to be doing something, but they don't know how, or they're scared to, or they haven't found it and they want clarity, or they want help stepping in and connecting to their higher power and want to know how I can do this. But if people, I think if they try to do this on their own by picking up a book or watching a video or that, they may say, I'm going to just do this now. This seems right in my heart. I feel so encouraged. I'm so enlightened. I'm just going to do it. And then, of course, when they're not prepared to do the work behind it, the emotional, the physical, the mental, the spiritual work that goes together with it,
Mhm.
it's going to fall apart in their eyes on them, even though there's no such thing as falling apart. It looks like it fell apart, but there's that duality where you find the balance of what did I learn from this? How did that affect me and affect others? And what do I need to know going forward?
Because it is work. It is work. I mean, right, right. You're investing in yourself. It is work.
Yeah.
There is no
Mm-mm.
easy fix, easy change.
No, there's no 1, 2, 3 step. It's well, there's three R's, there's steps, but each one requires something different from everybody. Depends where you're at, depends what you want, depends what you're willing to do about it. You know, there are some
Right.
people that don't take it to a part where they feel comfortable, and then I don't hear from them again for a few
Mhm.
years, or sometimes not at all. That's okay,
Mhm.
that's perfect,
Yes.
because that's where they need to be.
Mhm.
And acceptance that if this is a call for you that you feel highly called to do, and you're so fearful and scared that you run from it, that's okay. Know what you need to know about it, that you're still in fear, and that maybe this isn't for you today. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. Wait until you feel that you're more steady, you're more courageous, you're more willing to look at and take a chance. Don't say, oh, I couldn't do that. This isn't for me. Or maybe I could, but I can't. So I'll give up on myself. Keep it with you. Keep these 3 R's in the back of your mind that, well, this is what everybody should be doing here, not should, but could, and if they want to come into equal balance with themselves on the planet. So maybe my time isn't now. Maybe I've got too many young kids at home to deal with this. Maybe I can just get my connection to my higher power. Maybe I can find my intuition right now to be able to handle all of this. There's always, how do we say, workarounds or ways to move through the clarity.
Right. Or the step that's right for you at the moment. As you
Right.
said,
Exactly.
because you are doing other things. And,
Yeah.
and that's perfectly fine. Everybody is at a different stage of their path. And that's all right for them. The
Perfect.
important part is that they get on the path, right? That's important for
Or
them.
that
If they
that they
feel like they need something, right? If they feel that there's something missing, then getting on the path is the important part.
Yeah, wherever that path is, just to know where you are and be okay with it. You know, let's just say, well, I'd like to be on the path, but I'm nowhere near the 3 R's. Okay, well, maybe I'll just take a step forward and go, okay, kind of feel like I have something stirring in me once in a while when I hear see a bird or nature or something. And that must mean there's something more to me than humanness. You're on your path. You've already started. And these are the things that I think I want to really encourage women to look at. And what I help women do is look at that you're already on your path. Maybe you just don't recognize it. And once
True.
I help you recognize it, then you can kind of go, "Oh, okay, I'm not the oddball. I'm not the one that doesn't get it, right?" Because most women
Yeah.
feel whatever's out there, whether it's courses or enlighten yourself course or whatever, they're like, I couldn't do that. I'm not enlightened. I don't have gifts. I don't have spiritual gifts. I'm not an artist. I'm not creative. They're always putting themselves down, but what they
Mhm.
realize, they already are that. And if we can help women obtain that, even that little wee bit that they're already there, they already have it, they already know it, they
Mhm.
already sense it, they already feel it, we've just opened up a whole new world for them.
Very true. Now,
Yeah.
do you feel that a lot of people are looking to get on a path? Do you feel that I've had this conversation with a number of people? I used to feel that the evolution was happening and enlightenment was going on. Do you feel that that is true, or do you feel that maybe it's turned a little bit backwards or turned around the bend? Or how do you feel about that, especially a person who's been 40 years in this field and working with a lot of clients and helping a lot of people? What do you think about that now, with the way the
Yeah.
world is at this moment?
I think because of what we went through with the plague, that there's a lot of people that are more confused than ever before. Whether they've had the jibby jab or not, I think that partly contribute to confusion and mass brain fog as well. But I think because they've upped the 5G, they've upped the programming, that women are not clear. Most women are not clear. Yet we see in social media, everyone's seemingly enlightened. Enlightened in what? That's the next question we ask. What are you enlightened in? What are you living your purpose? What is that? Can you share? Are you clear? Are you connected? And I think what we find is they want to be or they don't want to be. I think there's a clear distinction right now. And those that are on their path actually jump faster than ever before. And those that don't, like I've had quite a few clients, let's say 2-3 years ago, would get partway through and all of a sudden just stop because they couldn't go further with enlightenment, their awareness of themselves, them stepping into a part of them that they didn't recognize or that they don't want to recognize or that they're uncomfortable with, because change can be uncomfortable, as we know. And then they stop. And once in a while, I'll see them in my news feeds or hear from them, and I see they're exactly where they were back then because they stopped the growth process. And when you stop that, things start caving in on you. And quite a few of them have a lot of physical ailments right now. And we know how the physical is attached to the emotional and mental, right? It all plays together. So that's a mixed bag of answers there. But I would tend to say that more people are not. And the ones that are the leaders of this quotation mark new world that's unfolding are seeking, because they've already had that sort of jolt that says, oh my goodness, I need to change my life up physically, mentally, spiritually, because, whatever, I've had a death scare, I've had an awakening, I've seen God, I've, had this intuitive hit, or I'm not happy and I need to change and I've gotten support. So that's what I'm seeing more than back in, let's say, the early 2000s, where just give me yoga and my green tea, and I'm going to get up in the mountain and I'm going to own away and everything's great and wonderful. And my passion and purpose is to feed the needy and this and that. There was a lot of that going on where everyone was sort of in that phase. But now there's clear distinctions, very clear distinctions. And there's a lot of wannabes out there, but you can tell right away that they're bypassing. They're sidestepping their inner truth, they're sidestepping who they really are at core level.
And I think also I find personally, because I've been in this field for a long time and in contact with a lot of like-minded people, that often, because of course, sadly, we are also slaves to technology, and a lot of us are using technology and those that provide platforms have a tendency of connecting you with the similar likes and dislikes. And so I think that sometimes we're in a bubble, or at least that's been told to me, that I'm kind of in a bubble because those that come around are people that are of a like mind. And so, I don't necessarily see the outside. I mean, I have it from clients, but they're clients and they're just on their path and they're just searching and looking. And as you said, sometimes they're there for a while and they fall off, and you see them years later and they're still in the same space. And then there are others who progress with or without me, and they progress, on their own in different ways. But I'm wondering, because everything is so, through technology and through platforms, so skewed for us, are we really seeing the truth out there?
It's when you are clear and you have discernment, which is your connection to your higher power, causes a lot of discernment in there, because you're always discerning, is that you, God, or is it, whatever. You start to see more truth out there. You start to see the people that want something but don't know how to get it and are trying desperately to find it. And then you find those that are more quiet behind the scenes, that aren't loud out there, that are really the change makers as well. And not that people that are loud aren't change makers. For instance, RFK. whatever. Yeah, he's being loud about his platform and what he thinks. And he's got a huge platform. But sometimes the more powerful ones are the quieter ones. And we
Yes.
don't necessarily see those.
Yeah. And what would you tell someone who's listening today and they really have no idea they know they have to make a change. They just don't know how or where to even start. What would you say to them?
Go within. And someone will say, well, how the heck do you go within? Well, you just start. You just say, I don't know how to go within. Someone help me go within. What does it mean, go within? Do I close my eyes? Do I have to pray? I can't even cross my legs to sit in that pose to go within, right? We have a whole of these ideas of how to go within. Like I said, go in your car or shut the bathroom door and just sit there and go, I need to go within and I don't know how. Start to ask. How do I do that? How do I find out who I am? How do I remember what I'm doing here? And how do I know what I'm supposed to do? How do I connect with you? How do I hear you? And always have paper and pen with you because you're going to get some answers. You're going to get, it doesn't matter what they are.
Right.
Write them down. And some people say, well, I'll remember it. Nah, you won't. And some people say, well, I'll put it in my phone. It's not the same thing as when you take a paper and pen or pencil and pen, a crayon and pen, whatever it is, and write it down. There's a certain energy that flows between your brain, your mind, the hand, the paper, the pen. And that's your beginning point, is asking, how do I do this? Because there's no set way for someone to start to go within to start the process. It's different for everybody. Could be the same. Maybe a whole bunch of people have sat in their car on the side road and cried their eyes out and found enlightenment. I don't know, or maybe they just found it when they were sitting there and the kids all went to bed and they're in a blanket on the couch and they closed their eyes for a minute and they found it. They found something that says to them, this way, that way, do this, do that, or something that's done, or they meet someone on the street, that gives them
Right.
a word and it changes their life. You have to, and I think the first step is be open enough to ask that I want change. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do. I don't have the money for this course. I don't have the money to hire that person. I don't have anything. I'm all by myself. I don't know how to do this, but I want to. And as soon as you say, but I want to, that energetic force goes out to the universe, and the universe always sends back, like energy attracts like, birds of a feather flock together. You will start to see things show up for you in various places and various people, places, things, and events. Pay attention to everything because you'll get signs everywhere. And signs are more prominent today than they've ever been because we've opened up. We collectively have opened up, or energetically, or God, or the changing of the planet's magnetics, or whatever metaphysical stuff has happened, is that the energy here is more powerful, more palpable than ever before to connect, to feel God, than ever before. So it's there for you. It's there for every single person, but you have to want it and then ask for it and see what shows up for you. And the subtlest of ways,
I'm sorry, say that again.
in the subtlest of ways sometimes.
Yes.
Not the lightning bolt per se, although it can be these days.
True.
Yeah.
True. But it doesn't have to be.
Nope.
Because it's different for everyone. Now, where can people listen to you? Where can people hear? I mean, I know that you have, I know you do a lot of live on Facebook.
Not anymore. No, but they want past videos. I haven't uploaded videos for a while, but I got a ton of videos on YouTube under my name. Connect with me on Facebook. I don't have much on Instagram, but mostly on YouTube, and my website hosts. Actually, I've changed my website up a little bit, but I'm going to be launching a course with a business colleague called equilibration.com. And I briefly touched on equilibration, looking at behavior patterns. And when you look at the high and the low of each behavior pattern, then you then bring it to an equilibration point, which then breaks the pattern immediately. Right? Instead of, you don't heal anything anymore. Healing. How many times have we tried to heal stuff and it comes back again? I thought I healed that and it's back again. When you equilibrate it, you've then transcended the pattern. So that's going to be launching soon, and I'll be doing a lot of work there. But I'm also doing a lot of work in healing the physical body as well. So I don't know what path I'm going to do that on, but for now, if they just want to go and watch some of my videos, do that on YouTube.
Yes.
Or you know what I'm open to right now, because I still have the summertime time here, because it's
Mhm.
not busy in the fall yet. I do free calls. In fact, I have one tomorrow. Doing a summit in September
Mhm.
on the physical body and cleansing and detoxing and healing. And I just did a free call or a free live yesterday on Instagram, and someone's already booked a free call with me. So I'm available for that because I love to
Well, I'll
talk
let that,
to people.
I'll put all that in the description so people can get a
Yeah.
hold of you,
Like if you're
especially the YouTube
stuck,
channel.
just give me a call. I'll
Mhm.
spend some time with you to help you be unstuck. I know what it's like to be stuck and having nothing there to help me. You know, where I grew up in a small town, when I first had my experience, I was like 20, I think 21. I read Deepak Chopra book, which was hard to read back then, and Wayne Dyer's book. And I started to meditate and I laid on the couch and I felt myself leave the body and scared myself silly. I never did it again for years, but I had no one to talk to. The library didn't have any books like that. There was no internet back in the 80s, right? I had no one to talk to. So if you're stuck, guys, give me a call, message me. I can talk to you. I can help you. Sometimes I get these words that come out of my mouth that help you change your history and move you on a path that's perfect for you. And we need that support from people. We need to have that support there.
Yes, because most people don't have the support in
Nope,
general
nope,
about anything in their lives. And so,
no,
especially if it's something that they're in fear of changing, right? Changing trajectory, that's very frightening to many
it is.
people.
It is. Any change is frightening, but when you've got the support behind you to start to initiate that change, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yes.
Because then you find the strength within you and you know where to connect to the strength to help you to continue on.
And I do want to say that because you were on last year, you did speak a little bit about equilibration. So if people want to see that, I will list that as well
Yeah, the
on our
website will
channel
be
last year.
good. The website will be live in another month or so. We just finished up the course. The membership will be open in a couple of months. We got to do the intro and then it's ready to go, because it's nobody's teaching that out there. Everybody's teaching, well, do this program, do this technique, do
Right.
this, heal this. Well, how has that worked over the past years? It hasn't. Because the same triggers come up, the same patterns
Right.
come up. And not that you'll never have triggers, but you'll equilibrate them really fast.
Yes.
And I know these. I know this from my firsthand experience because I have a drug addicted son that lives on the property. And I know over the past years how I thought I healed emotionally from stuff. But I know now when I equilibrate, it's like, okay. It's quite a
It's a
difference.
powerful tool. Powerful tool.
It's life changing because then when you're out of that fear and when you stay in a homeostasis spot of, your heart rate's normal, your blood pressure's normal, and you're equilibrating your shit and shit is shit, and you're healthy because you've healed a lot of things that are happening in your body. And when you know your purpose and you trust in your higher self, you're connected to a higher power. You know your connection to the higher power because you're connecting with it, you're following the lead and you know that you're more than an earth suit and you know your time here is limited and there's nothing more important that I feel good in my body, in my soul, in my mind, then life becomes bloody exciting. You can't wait to get up in the morning and live your
Yeah.
purpose. And I've got 5 kids. I've got how many grandkids? 7, 8 grandkids, 2 great grandkids. And I've got a lot of love in my life. And I've worked hard at obtaining that. But I think here's what I want to say too. We used to work hard at it, and we talked a little bit about this is work, but it becomes less harder these days because I think the energy is there to support it more. I remember back in the day, you had to work really hard for a longer period of time to achieve something. You don't anymore. You don't. And why that is metaphysically, quantum physically, I don't know. I just know it is. Things can happen like that.
And it does happen for a lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
like that. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Quite to their surprise.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's true. Well, Judy, I want to thank you so much for coming on, speaking to the audience again. I always am happy when you come on, and there's always something to learn, and you give so freely of your time to everyone. So I do want to thank you.
Well, my pleasure, Marissa.
And hopefully we'll have you on again. There's always something else to speak about, right? I
There
mean,
it
the
is,
short
isn't there?
amount of time, right, is
Yeah.
short amount of time that we have, that today we're just talking about one aspect of it. I know you and I, like I said earlier, we spoke about the health aspect. I mean, that's a whole other topic in and of itself. And that is a very important part too,
It is.
to this.
Because if you don't have your health, you don't give a crap ass about change.
Yes.
You don't want to know what your
Right.
purpose is. And then I want to feel better and I don't want to
Mhm.
die and I want this pain to go and I want to be able to walk around and I want to be able to eat. You don't care that you're not connected to your higher power. You
Right.
don't care what your purpose and passion is. You don't care that you're a spiritual being. Right now you're hurting. And until you can get through that, nothing else matters.
Yes. And I do want to let the audience know that you do speak a lot on that. And
Yeah.
so for everyone, that it is important to listen, and that they can catch you on both YouTube and I know on Facebook. There's been a lot
Connect
on
with
there
me
that you
more on
mentioned.
Facebook
Yes.
and personally, and also make sure you signed up for the newsletter because all of my stuff
Yes.
will be announced through that too, right? So you can do that just through my website.
Right. And I will list the URL for the newsletter as well, so people can sign up
Yeah,
so that
great.
they know what's happening. Wonderful. Thank you so much again, Judy. I so
My
appreciate it.
pleasure. My pleasure. I love it. Bye.
Take care. Thank you. Bye now.